Welcome back once again. Right now we're going to move on to sports. I liked what they mentioned recently or a few minutes ago, saying that sports started to be something like social events, which is true. Well, right now we're going to tackle one of the important matches. Ahly All-Stars team was able to win the Egyptian Harras El Hodood. Well, of course, after conquering Harras El Hodood 1-0 after a tight close match. By this, they were able to win the Egyptian Super Cup. Well, Mohamed Abu Trika scored the difference for Al Ahly. He scored that goal, and Mohamed Barakat said something very interesting after the match. He said, I quote, that as long as Mohamed Abu Trika is in the field, we are also sure that we will score any time, unquote. So, we'll bring you more about it, but first of all, allow me to welcome our guest for today. We have the pleasure to have Goal International website correspondent in Egypt sports, writer and reporter, Mohamed Seif. Hello and good morning.
Hi, good morning. It's great to be here as well.
So, before we start, let's move on to this report about that match, Al Ahly and Harras El Hodood. We'll be back right after. Welcome back once again. So let's start. Mohammed, in the very beginning, it was not a surprise talking about that victory. What do you think?
Well, to an extent, I guess, because basically what happened is the Ahly team had a lot of transfers in the past couple of days. They brought in Hassan Ghali, Mohamed Shawqi, and a lot of pretty good players. So, but at the same time, Harras El Hodood, they're a very good team. They beat the Ahly, or actually Ahly didn't beat Harras El Hodood for the past 4 matches. So what happened is that it was a really close match. I mean, the Ahly team are a very star-studded team to say the least at the very moment, and at the same time, Harras El Hodood are a very tactically agile team. So they are a very good team tactically with a manager Tarek Al-Ashri. They're just doing and doing everything. So it was a pretty good match yesterday.
Mohammed, you've just said it was going to be my next question, okay? Harras clinched 2 titles from Al Ahly last season, which is very rare from any Egyptian team against Al Ahly. Yet, we said in the beginning it was not a surprise.
Well, there are 2 points. There are 2 aspects in this case. First point is it's the beginning of the season. So not a lot of teams are tactically ready and fitness-wise ready and everything. They're just not ready because it's the start of the season, and it's basically this part is the preparation part of the season, and that's the very first match of the season. So what happens is Ahly have better players overall, and that's an added value to the Ahly team. But at the same time, you've got the likes of Harras El Hodood, who are a very good side. Again, tactically, they're a very good side, and they proved that last season during the final, the cup final, and during the Super Cup in the first leg as well, in the last season. So you've got a very good team, but that's not really up to par fitness-wise.
They were not at their best.
Well,
we can say so, or
well, in a way, as well as Ahly, because Ahly, that's not their best as well. That's not their best form. So you've got 2 teams who are not up to their best form, but they've got the experience factor there in the Ahly team. On the other hand, for Harras El Hodood, you've got the likes of Ahmed Abdul Ghani, Ahmed Mekki, and a lot of very good players there. But again, who are not fit tactically and fitness-wise ready for the new season, and that's why Ahly team were a better team yesterday overall.
well, Ahly's striker Francis Deforky killed any chance for Al Ahly, okay, to score until he was replaced. Well, of course, that raised a few eyebrows.
Well, here's the thing. I've got a thing with foreign players. Francis Deforky.
Usually we are after the foreign players, or professional players, but...
let me tell you the story. Francis Dowie, at 17 years of age when he was playing in Liberia, he was touted as one of the greats by George Weah, Roger Mila. Everyone saw him as a really great player, a really fast player. He took his chance in the U.S. as well. He played there a bit. And so overall, he's a player with great potential. And if you remember in the first season, Flavio came to Ahly. In the first season, he just scored 1 goal. But at the same time, he did play very well in that season. Francis has a lot of good aspects in his way of playing, from the speed, from delving into the defense and stuff like that. But the only problem with Francis is he needs a little bit of direction from Hossam El Badri and the Ahly staff, because what happens is France usually slots in a bit at the back and falls in a bit at the back with Abu Treka. So what we had yesterday for the Ahly team is that there wasn't a complete striker playing up front, and that was the main problem there. But France just needs a little bit of direction from the Ahly manager, and that should sort out the problem, I guess.
Do we evaluate players to be good or bad according to scoring goals only?
Well,
because sometimes you don't score, but still you played well, or it is just based upon team working together.
Definitely, it's a very important aspect. But the thing is about strikers, especially, they're judged basically on their way of scoring goals, on the striking ability of the striker. So if you've got a striker who's got great potential and he's not scoring goals, even though he's not, he might be a great player, but he doesn't score goals, and that really judges him as not as good as a striker as, for example, Ahmed Seif or whoever in the Ahly team or in Egypt. So that's a major issue, but scoring goals gives a striker confidence, and that's one of the major issues for a striker. If a striker doesn't score goals, you'll have his confidence slip up, and that's the main issue. So if Francis starts scoring a bit more goals in the coming couple of matches, he'll definitely be a better player, and that's in my opinion.
Well, 2 red cards for Said Moawad and Ahmed Abdelghani. Well, were they deserved, do you think?
Yes, in a way, I guess. The red card for Said Moawad, that is totally deserved, because, to be honest, that was, let me say, not a stupid tackle, but the second challenge was a bit on the downside, because basically the ball was just way out of the player's feet, and Said Moawad slotted in and tackled the player. So that was for the first. That was a deserved yellow card, a red card for Said Moawad. As for Ahmed Abdelghani for the Harras El Hodood team, after the penalty that was not given, or the debatable penalty that was not given, there was a lot of talk about the player again talking to the referee and stuff like that, and that definitely deserves a yellow card. So overall, yes, I do deserve the 2 red cards are pretty much deserved for both teams.
Well, moving on to a new season. So, which starts, of course, with the Egyptian League. Do you think there will be more competition? How do you see the upcoming season?
Well, the upcoming season is going to be pretty much, there's going to be a lot more competition in the next season. It's going to be a 2-horse race between Ahly and Zamalek. That's a fact, definitely. But you'll get more competition from sides like the Police Union, Ittihad al-Shorta, and Ismaili slotting in, and Masri. You've got a surprise package in Wadi Digla.
So you're talking about the top competitors, or
well, yeah.
Who will be the top competitors in your view?
Well, definitely Ahly and Zamalek again. It's going to be a 2-horse race, but you've got the likes of Sumuha, Wadi Digla, Ismaili, Ittihad al-Shorta, who are a great side. They played pretty well last season. You've got a lot of teams there who should make the score, the points at the end of the season coming. When we see the scores at the end of the season and the points eventually at the end of the season, you'll see that the teams will be pretty much close together. So it's not going to be as easy as last season, but it's going to be pretty much.
It will be more.
It's going to be more competitive, definitely. Okay. It's going to be more competitive.
Mohamed Seif, Goal International website correspondent in Egypt sports, writer and reporter. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It was great being here. Thank you very much.
So.